7 things most people overlook when buying a home.
Here's how you can be a savvy home buyer.
Being a savvy home buyer when purchasing a house means approaching the process with preparation, with insight, clarity, and most of all, strategy, because it can save you a lot of time, money, and stress.
Yeah, and that is great news for you if you're looking for a home right now, because it can definitely be overwhelming. But with Collin Realty Group, we have a strategic process that makes it as stress-less as possible. All right, so we can't make it stress-free, but we're gonna make it as stress-less for you as we can.
So let's dive right in.
Hey, real quick, it's Hal and Kris. If you're interested in buying or selling in Roanoke, reach out to us with the contact information on the screen.
And be sure to take the neighborhood quiz, which is in the description below, to find out what part of Roanoke is gonna be best for you.
So tip number 1 is know your budget. We had clients moving here from Florida that said they weren't gonna make the move for 6 months. However, plans can change, right? So when they came up to explore the area, met with us, a great home hit the market while they were here. It had the art studio, natural lighting, the floor plan, everything they were looking for in a great neighborhood that fit their lifestyle.
But they weren't pre-approved. Luckily, our local lenders acted fast and we sprang into action as well. We submitted an offer, the offer was accepted, even though it was a multiple offer situation. But hey, it's not always a happy ending. It was for that couple though.
So be prepared. And how you can be prepared the best is start with a solid understanding of your monthly income, debt, and comfort zone for your monthly payment. Don't just get pre-qualified, get pre-approved. So sellers can take your offer super seriously. Do that sooner than later, as we mentioned, and don't wait until the perfect house comes along to do it, because then everybody's gonna be scrambling and it's gonna make it stressful for everybody.
Yeah, make sure you factor in property taxes, insurances, utilities, and maintenance, not just the mortgage. And also avoid stretching your budget. Just because you qualify for more, it doesn't mean you should buy more. Leave room for life. And if the lender says you're not ready to buy yet, that's okay. Use this time to improve your credit or save for a bigger down payment.
Tip 2, make sure you understand the market. We had a buyer ask us to help them build their portfolio by purchasing a rental property. In their community, houses weren't selling very quickly, but when they started looking in Roanoke at that time, houses were going under contract within a day or 2 max, and they were shocked and missing out.
Yeah, totally missing out. Once they enlisted our services though, we were able to help them get a video tour, submit an offer, and get them under contract within a few hours.
Yeah. So, basically you need to know, is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market? Are homes selling fast? Are they sitting for weeks? Or are they even going over asking price, right? Because everybody always wants a deal. Regardless of market though, make sure you work with a professional realtor that can get you in quickly for a tour.
Yes.
The quicker you jump on an offer, the better chances you have in not getting into a multiple offer situation, which will have you potentially overpaying for the property, right?
Stressed again.
Yeah, right.
Make sure you understand the local trends. Where you currently live may not reflect national headlines. And I like people to ask me, what's the average days on market? What's the typical price per square foot? And the frequency of price reductions in their target market.
Yeah, make sure you're also aware of seasonal trends. Inventory and competition often shift throughout the year. And then PS, we can provide custom market reports and local insight to help you make that informed decision.
Definitely. Let's move on to tip number 3. Know what matters most. This is a very common one, to have clients say that they want different things. But one client in particular comes to mind. The wife wanted urban living, the husband wanted land with lots of privacy. They wanted totally different styles, had different ideas of what was most important. And then they started getting really frustrated after looking at homes. We suggested a meeting of the minds to determine what things they both needed and what they wanted for their individual must-haves.
But once we helped them gain clarity, we're able to show them some properties that had those must-haves and found a house with privacy. You had a great neighborhood feel that was a total win-win.
Yeah, that was awesome. So make a list of your non-negotiables like bedrooms, location, yard, versus your would like to have, like a hot tub, things like that. Don't get distracted by staged furniture, fancy lighting, or trendy colors. I can't emphasize this enough.
Yeah.
Because people get hung up on things that can easily be changed. If you're like me, I don't have a lot of vision, but I've learned that through real estate. Don't get hung up on that.
Yeah, and just like Kris was saying there, it's like, remember, the paint, the flooring, fixtures, they can all be changed, Floor plan, lot size, and location, on the other hand, they cannot. So, it's like the saying of location, 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 it is so very true because you can't change it.
Yeah.
And if you're buying with a partner, make sure you're aligned on priorities before you fall in love with a house. We don't want to have that additional stress and going on by any means.
Yeah, and here's another important thing. Understand the nuances of an area. Here we have basements. Some people are not familiar with this. Some of the basements are finished, some are unfinished. We have on-street parking versus off-street parking. And those historical homes, there's some pros and cons that come with that. Beautiful character that you like.
Oh yeah.
Also, AUDs, how common are they and what are the regulations?
Okay, tip number 4, inspect and think ahead. It's super important to see what's really under the surface.
True.
For example, on the outside, there was this beautiful home in the mountains, looked well maintained and picturesque. But after inspections of the house, the well, the septic, there were some major red flags that popped up and that couldn't necessarily be detected just on the initial home tour, right?
Yeah, I mean, luckily our clients had inspections done and enlisted specialists when they needed it to further investigate what was really going on under the surface of the house, which gave them a peace of mind about how to best proceed.
So we highly recommend that you never waive the inspections, even in a competitive market. It's going to be your safety net.
Yeah.
And ask during the process, your realtor can do this while they're going through the home as well, but ask about the age and condition of the roof, HVAC, plumbing, electrical systems, hot water tanks, those types of things, right?
And don't just think short term, think long term. Are there signs of water damage, foundation issues, past repairs? You'll get an inspection report. Use the inspections to negotiate repairs or credits. Don't skip your chance to protect your investment.
And we always tell folks, expect a long inspection report with the significant issues pointed out. It's going to have a ton of educational information and things for you to consider negotiating with the seller for repairing or replacing, or maybe even a credit, depending on how your things are structured.
Yeah, and I talked about future. Just remember, no house is perfect. You need to budget for upcoming maintenance. For instance, you may have an HVAC system that's functioning now, but it's a 30-year-old unit. Well, you're gonna have to replace that at some point, so budget for that.
Tip number 5, we touched on this a little bit earlier, but buy the neighborhood, not just the house. Like we said, location, location, location. Now, we had a client who desperately wanted to be in the Cave Springs School District, but after doing thorough research, they did decide that their lifestyle was more in line with the offerings and the feel of the William Byrd School District.
Yeah, I remember we showed them houses in both areas, and I'm happy to report that they're happily settled into a home that suits their lifestyle. And they said they can't imagine being anywhere else. So that's a good news.
Yeah, and one of the things they did whenever they were looking at the houses is they actually drove around the area at different times of day. And they were checking out, what's the noise level? What's the traffic like? That type of thing, to get a true sense of the day-to-day in that community. And then also make sure you're looking at school ratings, commute times, crime reports, and the future development plans in the neighborhood you're looking at.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, a beautiful home in a declining area could mean poor resale value or limited appreciation. What I like to ask myself and have my clients consider is, are you going to feel safe, happy, and connected living there? Not just now, but in 5 or 10 years.
Tip number 6, make your offers with strategy, not emotion. Make sure you stay calm, take off those rose-colored glasses so that you can make a good decision.
Definitely. Recently, we helped a sweet couple, and they fell in love with the house because of its privacy, the floor plan, and the walkable neighborhood. It seemed like too good to be true. Despite some potentially costly issues we pointed out and signs of deferred maintenance, they were determined to make this house work. But once it got under contract, the blinders came off and they realized it was not a good fit at all and there was way too much work to do.
And luckily, in the beginning, we anticipated the scenario and protected them with how we structured the contract, which allowed them to terminate and look for a better suited home.
I get it. I mean, it's easy to fall in love with a house, but buying emotionally can lead to regrets. That's why they call it buyer's remorse. Know the comps of an area. That means comparable sales and have a clear ceiling. Don't get caught up in this bidding war of a home that you can't even afford.
That's right. And understand all the terms in your offer. There's price, and that's not the only factor. You got other contingencies, you got closing dates, and flexibility matter too, as far as that when you're writing that contract up. And don't be afraid to walk away. It's okay as long as in your contract, it allows you to do that so you don't default. The right house will come and we'll help you spot it.
A lot of our clients that had to walk away, they end up saying that that second house was a better fit and they were so glad they didn't just settle on the first one. Tip number 7, and you're not gonna wanna miss this one, it is work with a rock star agent. We're gonna be your advocates, your negotiators, and your guides. Here's a good example. A lot of people come to us having lived in their current house for 25, 35, sometimes 40 years, and they're finally ready to sell that one and buy a new one, but they don't even know where to start.
And that's a vulnerable place to be. We recently helped a couple like this, and after discussing all the options they had and educating them on the market, we helped them execute a plan to buy their dream home first and then sell their current home, leading to a smooth transition that was profitable and a lot less stressful for them.
Yeah, such a good ending there. A great agent does more than just open doors. We're gonna help you analyze the market, point out red flags, and structure strong offers. We're also gonna help you avoid overpaying, missing crucial deadlines, or falling through these common traps.
Good agents are gonna have a network of trusted professionals, inspectors, lenders, contractors, and a whole lot more. And buying a home is one of the biggest decisions of your life. Do not go it alone. Let us be your advocate from start to finish. Contact us today to get started.